Hello my friends, and welcome to monthlies. This is going from July 23rd to August 22nd. And just quick note, thank you everybody for helping, sharing, subscribing, liking. I appreciate a lot. 10,000 is a really cool thing to be at just in less than 5 months. So quick announcement, we only have one special this month, which is your expert. So if you want it, check it on my website. Love you. Hi guys, better late than ever, right? So it's going to be both your August and September, so that way we can actually really see things going on. I have seen the major shift with most of the signs that I did, and so you just don't think that I'm not liking you or any kind of like silly comments that I sometimes get. Has nothing to do with that, literally, because monthlies are so time exhausting for me. Because you have to think that this is like one woman show, and for each hour of recording there are like actually 2 more hours at least, or even 3 that are going into it. You have to prepare for it, then you have to process the video, and then you have to upload the video and create all those little kind of like subdirectories. So just imagine, like, this is just for monthlies, about 12, 10, 48 hours of work. So it is a lot, but I don't like to do the short kind of like little brief things. I don't consider that really valid, because we are still covering the entire month. That's why I kind of like give you a really brief, more or less practical, kind of do this is kind of like suggestion, but this is more or less like higher level, sort of like you're on the top of the mountain. Sorry about it guys, my phone is on because I never know if my dad or hospital will call, so these are basically the only 2 numbers that can get through, so my apologies with interruptions. So I was saying, this is on top of the mountain kind of view, and then you can see below, and it will go kind of like, ledge down, and then ledge down, and it will just go completely to the ground level. When I do the bi-weeklies, it's like kind of like really quick. So there is a huge difference in input. I do know that, this is really hard and it takes lots of time, but this is kind of like for those of you who want to kind of like learn how to fish, not that I just give you fish, right? Because I don't really believe that I owe your life. I really believe your free will is more important than anything that I say. Tarot is a really good tool to give us direction, but it's even better tool to give us ability to kind of gather some insight about ourselves, to grow about a person, to kind of like see where and how did we progress, right? So we are going to go through the steps right now, and it's the best when I go and explain these cards to ask yourself about, am I doing this? Am I stuck in this? How can I kind of like go around this? So this was the first card that jumped, awareness, right? So check this out. Like, look at this shadow tearing right through, right? I just absolutely love this card because you're Libra, right? Like, if you guys are always balancing things, you're most likely always out of balance and kind of like always trying to maintain that equilibrium, right? So here talking about the whale of illusion. This is also called Maya, that basically maybe keeps you from perceiving reality as it is, and it's starting kind of like to burn away. So you see this fire here, this is what I love about this card, is not red hot, right? It's kind of like the cool flame of awareness. So as it kind of burns this whale, this face is kind of like showing up, which is kind of like very delicate and very kind of like childlike, very much like you Libras having these angelic features, right? So the awareness that is growing in you, it's basically not the result of any conscious, like I had to do ABC and now I get this. It's just really not how it works. You actually didn't have to struggle to make this happen. In fact, just let yourself settle and understand that you're just a witness. This is kind of like melting away, right? So because this is talking about that mind is just an engine. It cannot be intelligent. It's only no mind is intelligent, right? So when you have a child, and that's why this is a childlike creature, child is natural intelligent, and this is why when you do IQ test, the most basically accurate one is like when a child does it. As adults, we kind of acquire knowledge and we fake it, right? We can come across as more or less apt to do certain things, right? But when you have, let's call it no mind, when you're still kind of like what they call it in Latin, tabula rasa, empty kind of board, you're literally just putting your imprint on everything. So just you have to imagine right now if you can clean that slate. How and what would you put on it? It's like a clean house. You all of a sudden don't want to clutter it with a whole bunch of things on the cupboards, etc. So when basically we are like pushed with mind, like everything happens, the fear happens, somebody has an affair and we kind of feel it, that happens. With no mind state, we don't have any of that, right? So this is basically calling for you, because this is the card of Chariot in the other decks, and Chariot is a really interesting card. It does talk about travel, it does talk about, but it talks about inner travel, it talks about journey, it talks about life journey, but it also talks about the demons, which kind of like we see here, like you're literally kind of like getting through that kind of like dust that you collected in the past. So this is really good, guys, because the very next card over here is understanding, right? And like this is such a beautiful card. It's like the artist like did an amazing job, because first of all, you can see that the bird is not really trapped, right? But it just like will take a little kind of like better maneuver to get out. Another thing that I really notice over here is look at those bars. They're kind of fading. You see, they're fading toward the top. And also there is no door, right? So here is telling you, look guys, you're waking up. You're understanding there is more than mind. There is more than rational, right? And here, like you're just about to be ready to open that cage wide open and to fly. So this is basically a card that basically tells you to welcome this opportunity, that you might be a little bit kind of weird, that is going to be a completely new layer of understanding. So this is get out of jail card. Remember Monopoly? You can open your wings and the whole sky is yours. And all the stars and the moon and the sun belong to you, Libra. You can disappear into kind of like this blueness of basically the sky. Just, you know, drop clinging to this cage. That's the key. Do not cling. Do not stay in situations that are unclear, that for any reason basically, let's call it, imprison you, right? Because look, just think that where you are right now is where you are right now, here behind these bars. And this card is saying that this month you can actually really come across and fly like an eagle, right? And the freedom is basically the highest value that any creature can have, and everything else is secondary, right? So this is where you're getting, and look at this, I just like love it. Now some of you may still go through, it's kind of really also interesting the numbers you're getting, right? Because like you have a suppression and then you have rebirth. And this is kind of like really, really interesting card as well, because look at the figure on this card. It's quite literally all tied up in knots, right? Literally, look at this. And his light, however, is still shining within, which kind of like very much responds, right, to that opening over here. And you know, this is basically talking about us. We need to meet so many demands in our busy lives, and we have expectations, and everybody is like sending us something. They want something from us, right? At times that gets really, really tiring, right? So the real message of this card is to find a healing outlet for potential explosion. Like you get to the point either being beaten up or just like saying, ah, I can't deal with this, leave me all. And if you guys get to the situation where it feels too much, you feel anxiety is kicking in, then I suggest simple exercises. Close yourself in a car and scream, or beat on a pillow, jump up and down. I have one of those little what do you call it, rebounders. It's like a mini trampoline, and it's kind of like you get to zero gravity, and it kind of like helps you really rebalance everything. It's also great exercise if you have issues with your spine, because there is no impact, and yet it's kind of like what NASA considers the best exercise of all, because when you jump up you get this no gravity. So this is kind of like asking literally the same thing, shaking up your system and shaking up your energy and allowing that energy to circulate freely. So do not wait for these things to bottle up, because Libra, you're such a nice and refined sign, and bottling up things really don't lead anywhere, right? So before you kind of like really freak out, things kind of are building up to that kind of climax. So look at this. Set yourself free. Set yourself free. Cut the cords, literally. And guess what is the last one? Rebirth. So here you have the evolution, I guess, of some kind of consciousness, which I see here happening. First is going to happen on its own. Then you're going to be a little bit afraid about it. Then everybody around you is going to say, no, 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 I still want you to do that for me, and that for me, and that for me. You're going to have all these invisible kind of cords and chains. I do have a carding cord meditation. Just look down in the description. It's like a link to my Sapphire Dreams channel. So, you know, like people resist that you are changing, and they will do anything that don't let you go. Cut those cords. You can still be with them on your terms, because look, you're heading here, right? So we have a camel, we have a lion, and we have this transformation, right? So this is like from the book Thus Spoke Zarathustra, right? Where basically he speaks of the 3 levels of camel, lion, and child. The camel is sleepy, dull, and self-satisfied, and he lives in delusion, thinking that he's a mountain peak, but really he's so concerned with others' opinions that basically camel has hardly any energy of his own. So emerging from this camel is then lion. And so when we realize that we are missing life, we start saying no to demands of others, which basically this card really stressed out. And then we move out of the crowd, we kind of like stand alone and proud, and we are roaring our truth. Remember, this is what they called middle-age crisis. You get to a certain age in the 40s and you say, you know what, why am I doing this? Why in the world I'm following the same steps? I'm just like on this kind of assembly line. I don't feel like doing this. However, this is not the end, because finally this child emerges, right? Which is like really soft. It's not rebellious child, but kind of like innocent and true to his own being, right? So wherever the space you are in, right, guys, whether you're kind of sleepy and depressed or roaring and rebellious, just be aware that soon you are going to evolve into something new if you allow it. It is a time for growth and for change, guys. I love it. I absolutely love it. In the other decks, this card is represented with this 10 of Swords beaten down, and this is basically saying choice is yours. Now you're on the bottom. How far up do you really want to go? And you guys are literally having this in your hands. This is going to be so exciting, and Libra being my ascendant, I am out of myself how great basically this pull is. Then in addition, I guess there is like karma and waterfall. So DNA karma, what is this basically all about? And look at the snakes here. So karma is basically a concept in many Eastern religions, and it is a Sanskrit word implying that greater universal laws of cause and effect, and it is kind of providing implied kind of code of ethics within the structure of seemingly kind of endless cycles of birth, death, rebirth, right? Like samsara, which kind of experience throughout our lives. And so there are different cultures and having a different versions, but basically they all boil to the same. However, the mistaken notion about karma is that it's some kind of punishment, and it's really far from that. And I do karmic readings, guys. Karmic reading is just simply a soul contract, and believe it or not, and every religion says the same thing, but people just take religion and spirituality at face value. Maybe you heard it before, but you didn't get it. Please hear it and get it now. Karma is neither good nor bad. Karma is our soul contract. Sometimes you come to this life because your contract is to learn to be hurt. And why would somebody come here to learn to be hurt, you ask? Well, because this is a physical life. This is a third dimension. Most of us come from different dimensions. Most of you come from the fourth dimension. I think it goes up to 21 when the God or that universal force resides over there. So each dimension kind of like brings something else. The fourth dimension is the one where you really have to pass and you have to conquer all these emotions. So we come to this plane to really learn it. So the more you put on your plate, the more advanced you get, and the faster you actually move through different dimensions. You get it now? So every religion tells you that you're going to get reward in afterlife. So this is basically it. We are the live beings. We can actually travel, and we are here literally to exercise this. But you know, beings being beings, we just want it easy. So just think, if you pick a lesson to be, I don't know, like a serial murderer, you're going to be tormented for the rest of your life. You'll be in jail. You're not going to be treated nicely. So just imagine how heavy lesson you really wanted to learn. It is very rarely that I have seen only one person who decided that this lifetime is going to be retreat. I even didn't think that something like this exists until I saw it. And however, that retreat was not by a person who is just a new person, new soul. It was actually an old soul with master numbers, but she kind of like really wanted to be observer in this life, not so much a participant, right? So we actually do carry our soul karma into this lifetime, and also we have that embedded in our like DNA, and this is called our ancestral karma. This double helix structure of DNA contains codes that have been passed down from our parents and grandparents as well as from our ancestors. So these are your seeds to that different dimensions. So do you want to activate them or not? This is up to you. And this card, like these two intertwined serpents that you see with double helixes on either side, right? So variations of this archetypal image exist in many cultures, both traditional and contemporary. It's simply a graphic representation of the most ancient ancestries that we can lay claim to, our DNA, which is the fundamental substance of life, and it actually provides determination through our life path. And even the medicine is like really waking up to it, and we are like learning more and more about this, right? So why are you getting this after this like huge reawakening here? It's telling you guys getting activated, right? Even though inherited DNA from your biological parents, and that has a physical component, you are also inherited a soul pattern that is basically who you really are. So you're predisposed to follow the karmic dictates of that pattern to some extent, but as you evolve, you're going to expand that, what they call it, light of awareness, and then you can make choices that shift and modify whatever you have been given. So you guys are shifting to the much higher dimension and a much higher level, because this karma card means this is one of those times. So you can feel probably the tug of your soul that is kind of like ancient and karmic, and also you can probably recognize, you know, that loving communication you're getting. So you guys have been becoming softer and softer people over the last couple of years, and now it's just saying, okay, you know what, it is time to cut all the knots from all the people who just want something from you, and you being guys so sweet, it always kind of gets to this point that, you know, you feel that you really want to help others, but this is the time right now to push your own code and launch. It is time for you, Libra. You kind of like learn, like whatever level was, 101, 1001, whatever it is time for liftoff. And it's going to be effortless. You cut these cords, you're flying. So you see, water generally naturally flows. It always kind of like finds its way. It's very graceful. It is like, no wonder you Libras are getting this kind of like card, and it's kind of like it's also going gradually down, right? So this is saying as well, it's kind of like this is the edge of your comfort zone. You guys have to do it. I mean, you don't have to do it, but you really want to stuck where you are, or you kind of like really, Spirit is now asking you to kind of pass that perceived precipice of who you are, right? And you can actually do that with fluidity and grace. Like some of us really have to jump and scratch our knees and break our legs. Not you guys. So approach basically present situation or relationship with awareness and grace. Don't try to make it effortless, because if you try to make it effortless, it's only going to create more strain. Here you have to allow. This is really not a time to fight, but just to surrender and keep your focus on your solar plexus, very important, in your breath, and breathe out any tension, because relaxing and kind of like allowing this moment to happen is like what is occurring, and it's going to make your life really, really effortless. So this kind of like came with another sign, I forgot which one. Also, solar plexus is important. I do have some energy basically sessions, but solar plexus can be the size of a beach ball, it can be size of a tennis ball, depends if it's overactive or underactive. How you know, it's connected to your anger, it's connected to your aggression, it's connected to how to relate to the others. It's connected to if you're going to allow all these cords to be pulled. Are you a little marionette that they're pulling these cords, or are you the one who is running the show? So check the resources online and try to surround yourself. See if the yellow color irritates you, because if it does, most likely your solar plexus is overly active. You see it's asking for this here and asking for this here. If you really resonate to yellow, then surround yourself. You see, I kind of like have yellow in my workspace. It is really important for me to function properly. Next, this was like a high level. Now we are going to spiritual level. Tarot is very spiritual, and this is why it's very hard to answer questions about time, because it gives us spiritual lessons and kind of like, I don't care about timing. Like, this is something you need to do. And then we are going to go to Gypsy and to Lenormand, which kind of like can pinpoint a segment in the time. So let's see, August, September, romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. And I did get some comments from people that people don't like the rain virtue. I'm already actually explaining this modified, so it's just like sort of like additional things. So if you don't like it, disregard. So there are some kind of delayed messages, or if you're expecting messages of some kind, it could be either delayed, they might not arrive. So let's see, what is this all about? Deception. You know what, Lala, you're going to see, this is kind of amazing. You can take as many cards as you want. So right now we have 78, like I'm in 156 and 54. So let's say 220 and 50 and 30. So about 300 cards we are going to have on the table, and you're going to get the same messages. So what are the chances, right? So deception, playfulness, getting to know each other, true love. Release your ex. True love was in the past here. Could be that there was some kind of deception happening. Pay attention to the red flags. Flirt. Ooh, that's a specialty, Libra specialty. Wedding and honeymoon and trust. What is this all about? Are you guys again getting married? How many times this month? Okay, so let's see. 4 of Swords, 2 of Swords. Very mental process, guys. You being an air sign, everything goes through head. So remember, this is kind of like asking you to process it via emotions. This is also processed via emotions. This is processed via passion. And this again is like a thought process, but literally is asking you, let go. Go in the next cycle. So the Devil reversed. The Death reversed. You love something dark. Look at this, like you have 4 dark cards to start with. Hangman. Wonderful. I can see the opening. Knave of Chalices. Lovely. 6 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles. 8 of Cups reversed. You're coming back to what, guys? 7 of Wands reversed. Something is surprising you. Okay. So what happened in the past? It was a true love. Something that you felt really important, or there is somebody that you feel important. Maybe this is not lifting off. It's sort of like not alive, but it's not dead. And it's not dead because you are not allowing this to be dead. Here, let's just put a camera better. So let's see what's about this. Look, another black card. You kind of like soul searching this entire situation and trying to figure out, you know, like you see, this is the best part in this lamp. It's a star, and this is your guiding star. Where do you want to go? You kind of like really don't care about anything. You're trying to figure out what is that you truly want, what is like that kind of like is deep inside of you. Be very careful that kind of like you're not exposing yourself to some kind of like senseless suffering, right? Because that card can mean sometimes being attached to the situation that is really not productive, and it's asking to kind of let go and rebuild. And when it's reversed, it kind of cannot be rebuilt, right? This kind of like would mean you're sometimes with a person who is, let's say, doing you wrong, and it's an on and off relationship, and you keep being involved into the cycle without realizing that literally this has to stop. Literally you have to have a big heart-to-heart talk and say, look, we have to renegotiate. This doesn't work for me. And if this person still kind of wants to keep doing what they're doing, then you guys will get the same results. It looks like this is like where you kind of like got stuck in the name of love. But on the other hand, like you did go on this discovery journey. You see, this could be the 3 people that were involved, or it could be that, you know, there are like some kind of issues about kind of, see, again, I have the swords, right? So could it be some kind of like fighting with your mate and accomplishing nothing, and one person has illusion of the victory, others are scratched. So maybe you're kind of like sitting in the middle like the hermit and saying, okay, let's see what happens here. You see like how many swords. So you have really Libras in your heads this month. So that process is obviously taking place. Now the Devil, very much like death. You see, the death is like, it's dead. You cannot make it work the way it is. It absolutely won't go, right? So the Devil card reversed is talking about literally being attracted to things that you are not supposed to, right? And that you're doing something that, you know, you're not meant to do. However, this also sometimes tells me about a third person hovering around there. You know, maybe it was something that jumped at you, that, you know, it says as you reveal your innermost selves. Maybe people forgot to mention that to you, and now you're hooked. Now you're like stuck in a situation. Keep in mind, that many of us consider this condition a love, the Devil card. But this love is like a really needy love. This love is like, oh, I have to be with you. You're my air, you're my this. This is not love, guys. That's codependency. This is the card of codependency. But when it's reversed, it's a good sign, because it means on some level you are recognizing the kind of things are not exactly working well. There you go. Guess what? Happening. It's asking you to recognize this, right? So it's reversed, meaning you need some little work. This is asking you to feel that awareness, asking you to literally drop it, because you're stuck in the situation. You're not letting go of this. Look, you need closure. You're trying to say to yourself, because you're Libra, oh my gosh, if I just know this, if I know that, if I know, you know, so much. Because look, you got 2 sevens. Sevens are, to me, single cards, not nines. Nines can be kind of like seeking deeper answers, but you have literally already 3 sevens. Whoever it was, it's guys time. This is not helping you. And I know you're going to say, oh my gosh, I love him or her, I just like want to be that. Okay, you know, I love cheesecake, but if I eat lots of cheesecake, this cheesecake can give me diabetes, and or at the very least I can get really big and fat, which then can go and create diabetes, heart attacks, and a whole bunch of things. So this is literally saying to you, the guys, the way it is continuing is going to be just harmful. So it is a time to kind of reach closure and reset and kind of like come up with something better. And how you do it is like by going slowly. Getting to know each other, to me, is a card of like, let's move slow. Because here you have deception, and this is the deception card to me, right? And it says someone is wearing a false self-mask in this relationship, and I think it's you, Libra. Why? Like, look, there is like this retreat, kind of like trying to figure out who you really are, and trying to figure out deep in your thoughts, which kind of relates to this Hermit card. So you see, both people here are wearing masks. So personality in Latin, I think persona means mask, means that we are wearing this mask, because you're not going to go to your boss and say, hey jerk, you know, how dare you love this, me like with so much work, don't you know, like, I mean, I have issues, etc. No, we're going to say, sure, I'll do my best, right? Because we wear this mask, and this is also a process of socializations, that we know that where it's hurt, and we know that we have, like, especially air signs, and you guys are the most refined from air signs, so you do understand the power of words. It literally is a sword, so you don't have to use it to be harsh, right? But you certainly have that ability to kind of do it. But sometimes we deceive ourselves, because air signs are so brainy that we are able to give ourselves that kind of like spin through the stuff. Oh, you know, we can handle it, and hence, now, are you deceiving yourself that this relationship can work out? Are you deceiving yourself with something else? This is really asking you to kind of like close it down, or even demand apology, even demand, you know, explanation of something that got stuck, or somebody who maybe you are very sexually attracted to, or maybe somebody who just sneaked out a truth on you. So why did they do that? Were they feeling uncomfortable when they met you, that you're not going to accept them? Most likely because maybe they feel uncomfortable with the situation. So this is the key, what kind of explanation is going to follow. So once, when things are already out, well, then let's go all the way, let's figure out what it is. If you really don't want to tell me, then again, I know now you are the one who is deceptive. So you have to watch this, whether it is inside of you or it is in the other people. It's asking you to just go deep inside. Meditation is the key over here that can help. Yeah, it was the third person, I think, in your case, guys. Yeah, that's it. That's this card here. That's what's happening. You guys are lifting off big times, because here you have this Chariot. So let's put this awareness. So you kind of like are going to start feeling people differently. Like this transition is going to be extremely powerful. So this means whatever happened, you felt deceived, but like right now you're going to see deception from a completely different standpoint. So guys, you have options. Do you want to get stuck in feeling deceived and betrayed? Do you want to be that camel? Do you want to be rebellious and angry and dangerous? Because how dare you do this to me? Remember, this is your fuel tank. You have just so much fuel given in this life. Or there's a proverb about coins. You're given so many coins in this life, but think of this as a fuel tank. And I don't know where you are in your life. I'm in my early 40s, so my tank is already half empty. So how much do I want to waste this on rebelliousness? And if I do, and I'm Aquarius, I'm by nature Aquarius, but by nature rebellious, on what do I want to spend this rebelliousness on? So, or you guys want to be completely reborn, you want to kind of go into rebirth. This is really, really important. This is coming down in the core. Do not deceive yourself, because you can just stay where you are and have your head in the clouds and think that you are the mountain, think that you're immovable, think that things cannot change. And it's asking you to be playful. And again, there is like this really difficulty making decision, right? So again, this is so you Libra, right? It's usually conflict between heart and mind, and it still looks like stuck on somebody from the past. You kind of have this like partially playfulness and a partially, this is not working out for me anymore, too many secrets. The reason why we are walking through blindfolded on this like really tight rope is like sometimes we feel, oh, it's just like better to make a decision. It's sometimes better to maintain status quo than to deal with this. But this time it's going to cost you. Give this card to you. This is lovely. So the goals are in front of us. So this is kind of like that flow. Remember this waterfall? Remember this effortless? So this is basically saying, look, the ships are going to find their home, and investment has been done, and now kind of like you maybe made your decision over something and it's time to go into something, but you're still feeling a little stuck on the things in the past. Sometimes like Six of Cups talks about romanticizing somebody or something. You know, this could mean that you have some happy memories of somebody you have been happy when you were 15, but guess what? The same person is not the same as 30. The same person is not the same at 40. We all change every 7 years. Every single cell in our body is not the same, but we seem to be the same person because of that DNA, the soul that is kind of carrying us through. So it's time to cut the cord, guys. Cut the cord. It's always good to have happy memories, but don't think this person will provide you happiness just because you have a happy memory, because even with a person who creates us enormous pain that we are really, really angry with, we still kind of can find moments that we're kind of happy. So, and the brain works this way, that kind of erases negative parts. Otherwise, imagine we would be just the bundles of anger walking around and killing each other. So this is a thing that self-protective a fuse that just jumps out when the system is overworked. And this is literally what your system is, overworked. And check it out, it's asking for you, guys. Let go. Look things in from different people's perspective, and this is my usually litmus test. Ask your friends what they think about him or her. Do they think this person is good for you? Your friends are the best forecast. Well, I think he likes you. I think she treats you well. Or I think he's deceptive. Why is he not ever calling you on weekends? Or why is she always asking you for something? Where is this give and take? The Hangman is like sort of suspension, not really doing much. literally kind of thinking about what to do. And this is simply almost asking for some kind of ritual of letting go, a ritual of basically cutting those cords, right? So it looks like you'll be mulling through how to do it, right? And you're getting out of cold. See, that's kind of like lifting off finally. Whoa, guys, you gotta do it. Cat's orders. Like you're getting into this fulfillment. You are opening the doors to this. This is just like amazing. This is like that effortless love. I mean, this to Libra, this is sort of like fulfillment of everything. And look at these chakras that are all here, all chakras in fine tunes. So releasing these old things, you're releasing all these cords. You are understanding through this card that some people actually do act on this level, that some people can really impose and try to impose their beliefs on you, and that they are not necessarily right, but maybe just because they have been raised this way, they are very rigid, because for them to look a little bit outside of who they think they are, it can be very threatening, because this is known and people are generally really afraid of change, and so are you. So you have to put that in perspective. And now it's kind of really interesting what kind of is happening. It's kind of like more grounding. So it looks like in August you're going to do all this homework around the solar eclipse. It could be this stays and this goes. It's literally cleaning the house. If you can let go of anything that doesn't serve you, including the clothes, including like whatever, like I mean the small little things at home that create clutter, you're going to all of a sudden clear your karma, clear your DNA, and kind of like be able to function better, because you actually have a romance on the horizon. And be careful not, you see, it's kind of like this is what they call cross of definition, and this is the very last card that kind of predicts kind of like this near future. And we see it over here. You guys are recharging. There is like this romantic feelings card, Knave of Chalices, and also you had underneath here soulmate, guys. But soulmate doesn't have to mean a good thing. Soulmate can mean a very challenging thing as well. People can come to your life for a reason, and if it's a karmic soulmate, it's going to be hard. And in your case, you are actually just dealing with one karmic soulmate. There is somebody who kind of like has you, like I mean, who kind of like, look, tied you down. You kind of like feel sometimes like even like almost impotent to do anything, to kind of like walk away. But this is what you want. You want happiness, but what you want is the happiness with this person who is not capable of giving it to you. Would you go and ask, I don't know, Dolphin to write an essay? Right? That's pretty much what it is, to put it in perspective with this person you're hoping with. Because just by closing this and getting this awareness and letting out of it, you guys are opening a new door to something else. And this time you're not going to just meet another person, the same person in a different body. This is a cut. You're moving on. You still have the wall, so that's why this is kind of good for you guys. Like Four of Pentacles, but look, you have Pentacles, so you're actually getting grounded. You're not using your air sign at this stage. You're like kind of coming down to earth and say, okay, well, let's see, let's kind of start flirting, and I'm still going to be guarded. I'm going to watch who you really are. And you might a little bit spy on them, meaning you're going to check them out. You're going to ask the same questions from different kind of like perspectives in different conversations and see if the same answer comes back to you. And that's how you figure out if the person is lying to you or not. Because one thing is really difficult for people, you cannot memorize lies. It will be really tough. So if you ask small things and different answer comes back to you, red flag. So how do you feel? See, you're getting that lift off. You're feeling like flirting. You're feeling like giving and sharing and grounding. Be careful not to be harsh. Queen of Swords reversed is you, but it can mean maybe making a rash decision, maybe telling somebody off instead. It's really asking for you to kind of understand both yourself and somebody else. However, if this means cutting people off who will demand, because you'll have people when you start cutting them off who will demand, wow, you have to do that to me, and how did you not do that to me? You know, some people are just unbelievably belligerent. Literally, they have no rights whatsoever, but they will make these demands, and that's the devil card says, like, sometimes you cave in because the sheer amount of this aggression basically almost pushes you there. So this card is asking you to cut this cord, and maybe that's what you're doing, and you're doing it in a very clinical way, saying, no, you know what, I am, where was this, release your ex, I'm letting you go, you're on this list, I'm just going to burn this list, dude, and you're going to be a dust very soon. So this could mean kind of like cutting people off. Yeah, if anybody's in your life that requires admiration, is anybody in your life that is not getting it, that you are sure very sweet, but you're so much more than just being sweet, kind of like, it will be interesting, because look at this card is like that Knave of Chalices over here, then you have the awareness here, here we have like this kind of lift off. We still don't have a suppression coming out, but let's see. This is your environment. Do you guys want to get married? Are you married? Is something happening with somebody's marriage? Is the marriage somehow involved? Because Seven of Pentacles is a card talking about the fruits of our labor, and it's kind of like a stage where we wonder, you know, you plant tomatoes and you're watering, and then you get few, but you're just kind of wondering if this is going to grow properly or not, right? Sometimes it talks about being dissatisfied with results when it's reversed. It's certainly, to me, always a card of crossroads. Wow, look at this, you're getting another pentacle. So be careful, you're a Libra, you don't like to be single, because like Nine of Pentacles is generally something long-term, and it relates to this card here, right? Kind of like seeking deep inside of yourself. So this is kind of like you would prefer to be with someone and kind of like shack up than being on your own, and you're coming back to the issues. So you are still really believing that things can be repaired, because like look at this, like Six of Swords, it's again a back, you're back from Pentacles to, you see, you kind of like want to do it, oh well, you know, everybody's getting married, I should get married, the shoulds are the ones that are killing us. But then you get this like Six of Swords, it's like your coding, your DNA coding wakes up, because after all, you're Libra, you're like very, very smart. Swords are very smart. People are afraid of smart people, remember this, right? So Six of Swords means you're trying to find some kind of help. Like this means like moving on, with transferring yourself to a hopefully better place. But this means trying to figure out how to resolve the situation that already is, because looks to me you're still going to dwell on that situation, you're still going to not cut a cord, because you kind of like want this. Maybe you have been offered a marriage from this person and you really wanted it, and the lure of marriage is almost like overpowering, and that's why you have this Devil card. It's just like so sweet to you, like you hear marriage and this is like a catnip to a cat, right? It just like go nuts. But this person would not make you happy. Try to focus from marriage and wedding to happy, because you guys with this person, you have honeymoon and you keep going back, and we've seen before, to really nice moments you had, but you get overly emotional, or they make you emotional, and there is a passion. So it's kind of like seesaw, like you get down, you get up, because this is falling down in your hopes and fears. Your hopes are that you're going to charge ahead, it's going to be fun, the dating is going to be fun, they will chase you, they will romance you, and maybe if somebody walked away, you want them to come back, and you really don't know what to expect though. Are you going to be too emotional? Are they going to manipulate you? So you see, these are kind of all the decisions that we did see that, but you really, really want to strive to this one. you have to understand this is not with this guy or this person, because you cannot trust this person anymore. And it was something that really surprised you. You have been overcome or overpowered with situations, with circumstances. And here we actually do have, it's not exactly the same card, but this is sort of that suppression, where you see here, there are lots of kind of like curveballs coming, but the kitty cat is still in a power situation, and even kind of like kissing kind of works. But in this case, no, you're kind of like overpowered. See, the key is, you know, don't make big waves, make small waves, build it properly, one thing at a time. Lots of pentacles coming out, and that's probably already moving into a Virgo at this stage. So you're going to get this Virgo flavor, and again, you'll get back and forth few times. What do I cut through, what you don't cut, because you have both Queen of Swords and King of Swords reversed. So you're no longer a couple by the time of this, and you are the one deciding that you need and deserve better. And it's going to be another person along the path that's kind of like come to kind of like that fulfillment. So let's see what horoscope signs I see. I see Virgo, I see Cancer, I see Capricorn, and I'm just looking for the main ones, not every single one. Anything else here? Yeah, that is. So again, this is telling me that you're going to have a really grounded energy this basically period of time. So guys, I'm going to pull the cards together and I'm going to put entire 32 cards of Lenormand. Lenormand is, so remember how I said like mountaintop, high level, and now we are going to kind of like really let's see the situation, sort of a blueprint of your life, but closer to our heart, so you can kind of see what can be done and what you can expect. And it can give you even a little bit more of a general reading, which I kind of throw in before we go down to the gutter and see all these emotions that they're flying around. So instead of making you wait for me to shuffle cards and kind of like lay down the cards, I will just simply click right back, and for you it's going to be an instant. So see you inside. All right guys, so how is Lenormand read? Oh, that's kind of like a difficult subject. It is very, very complex. To some extent I'm still learning it because it's really has limited options. But I'm going to go really more or less just observing your life. So there are two indicators. One is the gentleman, one is the lady. And disregard the gender role here. Either of them can be you, and the other one can be like the significant person in your life. So some of you are feeling really, really beaten down. And I guess this is why you had that kind of like card of awareness and these cords. So endings that kind of like need to kind of like lift off, because this means like this is enormous pressure on you, like from the above, from many different sides. I do see here somebody was from the past that you really think about, that was this enormous passion. So I see this repeat over here for some of you. I see that some of you have a relationship that maybe ended a couple of or 2-3 months ago or something like that. And I also see that was some kind of commitment, and some of you could have had a long distance relationship or kind of like some kind of planning in that regards. So there is this mountain, right? Like, I mean, that happened at the time. The reason for a breakup was some kind of sneaky behavior, and it looks like you cracked the whip, you asked for something and it hasn't been resolved, but it still kind of like shows that you're still kind of like hoping for this communication and the lovebirds, etc. Because in your present it's good. So just like the same thing I have seen both in your oracle predictions and in your tarot. Currently where you are, you like have the stars and the sun. Where's the moon? Let's see, where's the moon? The moon, oh, the moon is here as well. So everything, you literally can lift off. You see the crossroads, you're uniting this crossroads, and then you have a child and the rider. The child signifies something from the past, which I see over here as well. The key is something from the past that kind of like you really loved, and it was this dating gathering, something that kind of was really difficult to overcome. It doesn't have to be with the same person, even though this person is reappearing here. You see, the crossroads would be, do I really want to go back? It's kind of like I see in the end you're going to around this person, not toward this person. Kind of like, yeah, I want everything that kind of was promised to me, the house, the stars, the moons, the loyalty, but I want it from somebody who is not secretive. I want it from somebody who is loyal. It's kind of going to get very clear to you, from this relationship, these are the things I liked. From this relationship, I like these. And you're going to start accumulating things that are sort of like that line in the sand, and if they cross it, it's going to be go. So that's why the child means something from the past is coming to the surface, and will be that your new understanding of what is that you really need, and becoming really, really aware of that, right? And then all of a sudden things become really effortless. So the rider and the child definitely mean new beginnings, and really soon, most likely already by the time your early birthdays hit, like end of September, you might be moving somewhere. You may have a new house. You may have a project that maybe you put on the back burner, but kind of like a revisiting. You may have this person coming back to your life asking you for a second chance, and you're not going to be really quick to jump at the opportunity. You really right now really want it, and you wanted it for a while. But for you, the key with anybody, not just with this person, would be, wait a minute, is this person making me feel secure? Do I really want to domesticate myself with this person? What if this behavior that I experienced with this person is kind of like foxy betrayal kind of behavior continues? What do I do then? How healthy is it? How did I like residing in that fog somewhere in the middle, right? Is this person giving me a good stable relationship, right? Can I nest with this person? Is this person who will enjoy, like, I don't know, movie nights with candlelights? Is this person who actually wants to have children with me? So you have to ask yourself so many questions. For the other of you, it's going to be easier. Other of you, looks like this new person that you'll be meeting could be the one, because, you know, I'm seeing like literally almost like it's open. There are no crossroads. It's literally kind of, let's figure out, remember how you had this card kind of like getting to know each other, watch for the red flags, open it up, which is normal. The more you know somebody, the more they open up. Make this book an open book. And then, you know, like, I mean, when they build a reputation, when they build a trust, you're literally able to do everything. Like, they will be capable. This person is actually the very next person. If you let this person go, it could be the one. So the next phase is going to be a gypsy spread. And gypsy spread, we have lots of significators. We can see who, what, where, why. So it's going to be really kind of like down, nitty gritty, in the gutter kind of thing. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm doing, because you know it's a long reading, I'm going to do entire 52 cards that doesn't exist anywhere on YouTube, because it is difficult. So let me give me a second to lay them down, and I'll be back with you. All right, so let me see how I'm able to if I'm able to show you. All right, so this is better. So now, guys, here we have lots of significators. So as I told you, so let's start. Where do I start? So sweetheart here is single woman, any seeker asking about the situation. So whether you're single, is kind of like still going to be the same. And again, gender it can be either or. The lover can be male significator, but as I said, it can kind of like be interchangeable. Then Lord can represent a professional or a married guy, somebody who kind of like has possibly more responsibilities. Then you have a young woman, self-explanatory, but it also can mean a child, right? So then you have a wife. Somebody also can be a single woman with children, but ultimately, because of the storyline, it's a general reading and can be you as well. And it doesn't have to be just the one storyline is yours. It can be all of them, and it could be none of them. It could be like simply that the tarot already kind of like sent you the messages. So I'm going to give you all the generic messages I'm getting, and we'll go from there. First of all, the bottom of the deck, the two cards that are just bottom, are Servant and Journey reversed. So you guys are shutting off things that don't serve you anymore. So cutting those cords. Here we see it again, right? So let's see. This is kind of interesting that these two cards are actually close, because we do have this lightness in kind of like in between. So you see, I see this like something ended. It's kind of weird because some of you are right next to something in the past. There's like not much interaction. It looks like they died again, like this is another service. It kind of didn't work, and didn't work because of the secrets and making you jealous, and you try to kind of like make sense out of this whole situation. And it looks like the guy was married and really didn't, or really kind of like in a serious relationship, and didn't really want to let it go. You tried everything from renegotiating. You see this house here. You try to kind of play house with this person, some of you, or think about that wedding. There was definitely intimacy, and it stopped. This person made you very happy, and that's why I see now in tarot you had this like few elements. Six of Cups reversed. Yes, you're still having this really beautiful moment of intimacy that kind of like left you kind of like in awe, but you are actually having somebody else, and unless you let go of this, you're going to become your own worst enemy. You see, because look, you have two directions. You see, one direction is going toward this other person that flirt. The second direction is like still having on your mind, oh my gosh, like I mean, this is still making me feel sad, and like why haven't I heard everything that I'm supposed to hear? Going in this direction is, remember as I said, you have to let it go before you start, because here it means you're going to possibly meet a new person. Look at this, you have a cheerfulness, joyfulness, but generally this really shows three people, and three people. You just may repeat the same cycle, you know, like we keep repeating the cycles until we learn, and then we actually have a different result, because we kind of cut kind of like that stream of consciousness. So yeah, you certainly want to be joyful, but don't be your own worst enemies. You have to put certain things to rest. You see, you have the widower here. You have to shed all lies, even if they're self-lies. Otherwise, you will just repeat the same thing, and you'll hope that things will be different, and they are not going to be different. It's going to be the same to the square one. You're going to be sorrow and despair. You see, here is like what you have, and you're going to end up the same thing. So here is the child reversed, and the prison, and feeling stuck with this person. On the other hand, if you kind of like look in a different direction and kind of like don't go the old ways, and you don't go with a person who appears to be as the person who brought you this unhappiness, you actually may have just a straight path to happiness. Look, joyfulness, happiness, constancy is the pentacles that we have seen. You'll be thinking through things, waving to sense of it. You'll be making sure that you are taken care of, your work life is being taken into account, etc. Now, for these guys that you had, like one is free, and new one is coming, and there is one that's going to come to you with a whole bunch of red flags. So ask him if he's married, ask him if he has cleared his situation, ask him if he has any issues with his kids. Discover any lies. This person still may be tied to someone, right? And the other guy definitely will have to come clear with anything that has been done. Maybe you have realized that this person has been in a relationship and just You kind of like reacted that the whole deal's off, and that's fine. Actually, that probably was the best possible reaction you could have. Now, the married woman or the woman with children looks like, again, some attempts to reunite with something that has been dead, right? Failed. And it was like kind of on and off several times. And it's kind of creating certain kind of like, well, melancholy is not really depression. It's not really clinical thing. It's more or less, you know, the winter blues kind of a thing where, you know, you could feel better, etc., right? But this person is actually almost the healthiest, and maybe because everything that happened, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's exploded in your face, it's all over you, all this boo-boo, and you're saying, okay, fine, you know, this was horrible, and let me deal with this. Sure, you're not feeling happy about it, but oh my god, are you really lifting off? Because you actually realize to some extent you were your own worst enemy. Because check this out, I love this. One is an enemy, you see, it says enemy, but it's reversed, it's becoming your friend. And then you have a friend here, so you guys are becoming friend to yourself, and you're waiting for something better. And look, and then you have, like, I mean, this doctor and this haughtiness, so you're going to really spread your wings and fly into something really, really good. But you know, you have to really get out of, some of you are still maybe going through settlement and divorce and feeling kind of constrained with those ties, with maybe monetary, you're involved with someone. That can be kind of the issue, kind of like resolving this legally in the upcoming months. But on the other hand, things will really, really look up, and you're going to start feeling free. So Libras, let's recap. Really interesting thing. You actually don't have a major turbulence on the outside. Most signs will have it. The eclipse is coming, and we already had one. You're going to have another one August 21st. If you haven't, please check it out. Also, we still have 2 more days, 12, 13, and 14, 3 more days for the Lion's Gate opening, meaning you can feed this Lion's Gate with positive thoughts, and all of a sudden, like, your seeds are going to like bear enormously beautiful fruit. So check my videos as well on that. Also check about the solar eclipse. It's going to be kind of interesting, and for you, you're getting activated, but you have to let go of all these contracts that are not working out in order to get this effortless. And on every single layer of divination, you have seen the same thing. Cut the cords. On my other channel, down in the description, you have a cutting cord meditation. Do it daily until it's cleaned. You just need to be simply aware of things around you. Understand that you can fly out. You're free to go, and don't feel sad that where you're stuck right now, this is like, oh, it's so perfect. Because that's what camel thinks. Oh my gosh, where I'm so perfect, I have to stay it. And mountain means something immobile, means mountain to climb, hard to overcome. But check it out. Rebelling is good. You see, these are the stages of anger in psychology, from non-activity to anger. You kind of like go through these grieving stages. When you get to anger, you're almost done. When you start feeling angered over things that are done to you, you're literally almost close to completely being out and not having feelings for it, and kind of being reborn to this innocence. And this innocence is really important because you kind of like need to feel free, like, right, free for this new relationship that basically is heading toward commitment. And to seal it off, I pulled one more card from this enchanted map, which I love. And you got this lovely card, encouragement. So let me read this one for you, because it's too complex for me to remember this one. It says, you're receiving a nudge in the right direction. This card tells you that you're being gently encouraged to step into your power, into the dream of your life. New things are out there to be explored, and the nurturing power of the universe is giving you a nudge in the right direction. So guys, listen to those nudges, okay? You will get the help you need and won't be alone in your quest. every step you take right now is supported by the wisdom of the universe. You're on the right path. Keep going. And I really hope that partially this was like a part of this nudge. I'm so excited because Libra is my ascendant as well. So guys, I hope, you know, I made up to you for kind of like not really coming up with this early, but as I said, this is August and September. It's going to be a really wonderful month, but do not hold onto the old things. Certain things have to be buried. That's the obstacle. You cut these cords and you're free to fly. So meet me there when you kind of like spread your wings and fly. And if you guys need specific advice for your specific situation, Fly on the Wall is absolutely amazing reading, and kind of like I go all these layers individually with your own energy. Thanks Libra for everything, and please comment. I really want to know. I like to put my nose into your business. No, just kidding. It kind of like helps me to get your feedback, helps me to know how you really relate to all the things, what cords are you able to cut, how you're connecting with your DNA, and this kind of like gives me encouragement as well. And also subscribe, like, and come on the Facebook for the daily feed of some kind of positive news. And until the next time, Libra, I love you. Bye.